Shout out to G-Man Boxing.
Alright people, this video is just going to be about my thoughts on this whole Conor Benn situation, how it's played out so far, and realistically where I believe this is going to go. Now, normally on a Wednesday we do midweek report. We're not doing that tonight. We'll probably do it tomorrow. The simple reason is I was actually looking through the news today and I was like, there's not enough really news that I can get to put a 20-25 minute video together. I could do about a 15-minute video, but I like doing, if it's a report, you wanted to get a bit in the long side, about 25 minutes. So we'll do that tomorrow. We'll talk about the whole Conor Benn situation. I've been meaning to do this for about the last 2 weeks, maybe longer, maybe 3 weeks. I've just been that busy, as many of you know, a lot of stuff going on outside of here. And I just haven't had the time to really, between other news breaking and other things happening, as in the boxing news breaking, I haven't had a chance to really sit down, delve in, and really look at it from every angle and just really give my 2 cents. All I can really do when I talk about it is talk about it in like review of the week, where I guess I'm kind of killed by time almost, because I'm trying to not make that video so long and about one subject. I'm trying to get the week's worth of boxing into one video, so I can only give something maybe at most 5 minutes. So I want to really delve in and talk about this situation, especially since it came to light in the last week that Eddie Hearn, he was interviewed by, I think it was IFL or it might have been ID Boxing, one or the other, where he was asked obviously about the Conor Benn situation and where we stand. And apparently, I don't know if it's going, correct me if I'm wrong, is it going through courts or is there a hearing going? I think it's a hearing going on. And Eddie Hearn basically said, well, look, if he's banned, he's banned. You know, I'm paraphrasing, but that's basically what he said. He also said it will be likely, probably, that we won't see Benn back in the ring until the summertime, by which time it'll be, well over a year since the last time we fought. Obviously, he last fought Chris Van Heerden in April just gone. And obviously, we know he's meant to fight in October. It didn't happen for obvious reasons. When we look at this whole situation, it really is a strange one. You know, it really is, because the saying is innocent until proven guilty. And that's always the way, you know, when an allegation is made against someone. Now understand, I said allegation. When that's made against someone, you can't just jump down and say they're guilty. An example would be, let's look at Rowley about this time last year, where he was meant to fight Tank Davis and there was allegations made against him. There was a lot of people jumping down his throat and saying, get him out of boxing, get rid of him. Well, look what happened. He was exonerated. Now, that is innocent until proven guilty, because there was allegations made against Rowley and they were disproven. With Conor Benn, it's actually the opposite. It's guilty until proven innocent, because this isn't a situation where someone has come out and made a claim about Conor Benn in the lead up to the Eubank Jr. fight, saying we think we're accusing him of failing the drugs tests, we're accusing him of this, you know, and you say, well, that's your word against theirs. There's no proof of that. No, it's not like that. Conor Benn has taken a VADA test in July, which has come back positive. Now, the Eubank fight wasn't a done deal at that point, so they didn't necessarily have to tell the team about that, but you would have imagined that should have come to the forefront of, well, boxing when it happened, but it didn't. And then obviously we had the other one at the start of September, I believe it was, which again didn't come to, that was leaked to the Daily Mail. And by who we don't know. I think was it Eddie Hearn who claimed that it was the British Boxing Board of Control who leaked it. I mean, again, I'll talk about that more, Eddie Hearn, later on as this goes. So with Conor Benn, we know now that he has failed. You know, those two tests have said it categorically, you have failed. It's not someone making allegations, it is, there it is. Now, with this situation, I'll say it like it is. Right now, at this present moment in time, Conor Benn, to me, guilty. He looks guilty. This isn't me saying this because I don't like Conor Benn. This isn't me saying this because I'm desperate for Eddie Hearn in the zone to fail. It's none of that. At the end of the day, I've always been someone, and against my better judgment in many cases, even if I really, really like someone, if I feel as though they're in the wrong, even if, you know, it's the polar opposite, whether I really, really like them, I will very often, and I said it's against my better judgment at times, because sometimes that's made me, and that's outside of YouTube obviously, but that's made me kind of come across as the bad guy when, it's just always been my way, you know. So at the way I'm looking at this situation with Conor Benn now, to me it looks like guilty. It does. The fact of the matter is that we've heard no real statements from Conor Benn. You know, first it was that, obviously what he tested positive for was apparently a fertility drug for women. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, no matter how hard people try and claim it, biology is undefeated, nature is undefeated. Ain't gonna happen, Conor. No matter how many of them you take, nothing gonna grow in you. No matter what people will say, ain't gonna happen. So we can just chuck that one away. Now we were told it was contaminated eggs, and again, if you're talking about food or something, it was not contaminated eggs, but maybe the eggs had something in it that led to this, etc. At the end of the day, if that was known in July, you would imagine that it would have been changed pretty damn quickly, So they're the kind of things we've heard. I've yet to be convinced that Conor Benn is innocent. He's not really, Eddie Hearn was saying in interviews, even as far as the start of October, that we'll hear from Conor Benn. We've not really heard anything from him. We've heard him say, that I hope the apology is as loud as, what he's getting now. But it's like, we will apologize. I will, if I can see, and again, I've always been like this, if I can see smoke and gun evidence that you are innocent and you present that to me, I'll be the first person to hold my hand up and say, do you know what, mate? Sorry. Yep, looked legit, sorry. But I have yet to see that. The best you could muster up the week after this all happened was a Malcolm X quote, where you were basically saying that, the quote, if I remember correctly, it was to do with the media. It's like, you failed, and the media are reporting it. It was leaked to the media. You've taken that completely out of context. So with Conor Benn, it's just been radio silence from him. Eddie Hearn was all talk about the B sample at the start. Now I know the B sample can take a little bit longer to come through, but we've heard basically nothing from that. UCAD and the way they've conducted it. Now I've always had a lot of UCAD for me. I think that going back several years now, they really need. There's a lot of stuff wrong with UCAD, in my opinion, because I've heard in the past of, especially a particular fighter, which again I will not name, can't name it, but I've heard it around boxing circles, and I've had several people tell me the exact same story, and these people don't know one another personally, but they've told me the exact same story, that a certain fighter failed the drugs test, and instead of it coming to the public, he was given a ban, but it never came to public knowledge. So he was able to just take some time off, as in not fight, where people thought he was just being inactive. He's actually banned. Again, I can't go into names with that, but that happened a couple of years ago. And obviously the Tyson Fury situation, failing for nandrolone, and we know that now. It happened. That was in the build-up to the Christian Hammer fight. It was either before or after. That was February 2015. And the first report of that, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it was June or May 2016, over a year later. That's just not good enough, in my opinion. If something like that's happening, it should be public knowledge straight away. At the very most, and even at the very most, maybe a couple of days, just to kind of see where it all is. But a year? No. And in some cases, not at all. Crazy. Apparently, Conor Benn was only tested once by VADA. That was reported by Garrett A. Davis. Again, that's just by UCAD. That's just not good enough. If he had failed the VADA test in early September, UCAD should have been made aware of it straight away. Now, whether they were or not, I do not know. But if they were made aware of it straight away, they should have been in there like a hawk, saying, right, drop him in there. Let's get this test done on our end. Pee in that cup and let's see what happens. But from what I can gather, it was none of that. So there's a lot of questions still need to be asked. As I said, my stance on this now is Conor Benn looks the guilty party. Guilty until proven innocent, not innocent until proven guilty. And until I see some compelling evidence, that's my stance on this. That's how it looks. I think the way Eddie Hearn has handled the situation, I think now judging by some of his more recent interviews when he's been questioned on this, I think he kind of knows himself that maybe he's dug it in too much, that he's maybe done more harm than good. You know, some of it was just the stories were kind of all over the place. You know, he was just, I don't have a lot of time for the British Boxing Board of Control, as I'm sure many others don't. You know, I think that the British Boxing Board of Control have done some horrendous things over the years. You know, the decisions, the officials, the way, just the decisions in general. You know, Robert Smith is a thoroughly dislikable character. He really is. But in this situation, they pulled the plug on this fight. They weren't going to sanction it. Were they right to do it? Of course they were right to do it. And the inference being, what Eddie Hearn made, is that the British Boxing Board of Control somehow did something wrong by doing that, because both fighters agreed. At the end of the day, you know, I spoke about it with the Tommy Fury situation the other day. I know that's a bit different. If a fighter misses weight by X amount, you know, and what the other fighter, who's the opponent, says, okay, look, you missed weight by, say, 7-8 pounds, give me 20 grand and we'll call it even, you know, I'll fight you. That's not good enough. It's up to the board or whoever sanctioned the fight to step in and say, on the grounds of fighter safety, on the grounds of just, you know, morally, this fight shouldn't be taking place, and it shouldn't. So when the British Boxing Board pulled their sanction of the fight, I don't think anyone had any issue with that. Now, whether they went to the Daily Mail or not, again, I doubt they ever probably did, to be honest with you. I'd love to know who it was who broke that news to the Daily Mail. We may never know. But to imply that that was the wrong thing to do and the fight should have just went on because Chris Eubank Jr. agreed to it, no, it shouldn't have went on. Not a chance. They absolutely did the right thing, and that fight being pulled was 100% the right thing to do. 100%. The way it stands now, I think that Conor Benn, there's still a lot of questions about Conor Benn, rightfully so, and I can easily see this. I don't see this just going away. Like, a lot at the start, I kind of did think maybe it will just go away. I can't see this going away anytime soon, and I think that whatever the ramifications are, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the future. You know, it's going to be interesting to see. I think that the way, you know, I don't like bringing, people think I like bringing this guy up just to, you know, have a go with him, but the way Tony Bellew as well has been with this whole situation, you know, I think it's the, what's the word you use? God almighty, what's the word you use? The attitude that he takes when, you know, it's a PBC fighter who fails. You know, if this was, let's just say, right, for argument's sake, and I hope this doesn't happen, I hope this isn't the precursor, but let's say we were going into Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford, and in a hypothetical situation, it's fight week, I'm looking forward to it, though everyone's looking forward to it in boxing, and let's say Terence Crawford pops. Do you really think Tony Bellew will be the first one to come out and say, ban him for life, yep, the biggest payday of his life, the biggest fight of his life, get him out of the sport, he's ruined it, blah 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 blah, right? But when the roles are reversed and it's a Conor Benn, a matchroom fighter, or even a fighter, might not even be a matchroom, but a fighter he knows on a personal level, either that or, oh no, he didn't willingly do anything. You know, you see that? Like, it's just, you have to laugh. You really do. You have to laugh at that. And, you know, just, yeah, don't get me started on him. But, and this is about Conor Benn, not Bellew. But the way it's looking for Conor Benn now at the minute, it's not looking good, truth be told. And as I said at the start of this video, my stance on this is it looks to me as though Conor Benn is guilty. Now, as I said, very open-minded, and I've always been someone where I try and not let, you know, there are so many people out there, not in just boxing, in every aspect of life. I mean, Jesus Christ, they're like, it's, some people are very, very, extremely petty about certain things. I mean, I had a boss once, and, you know, he'd be the sort of person where he would say, you didn't do this. You know, it could be a job and you need to do it. He'd be like, you didn't do this. And he'd, just lambast you. Just try and just belittle you, but you didn't do this. And if you could prove that actually it wasn't that I didn't do it, you never told me, that I needed to do it, and you could prove that, the cognitive dissonance would just set in, and he'd just be like, proving that he was wrong. Ego couldn't take it. That's never been me. I'm always like, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I've always been the first to say it. Or if I took a certain stance and you can prove that, actually, no, it's not, I always say, look, yep, hands up, got that one wrong. A lot of people in every aspect of life can't do that. Not just boxing. I mean, boxing is just it's just a fish in the ocean when you think of it in every aspect of life. Most people struggle to just even comprehend the fact that they could be wrong. And, that's just a lesson for life, I suppose. People don't like being proven wrong. But my stance on Conor Benn now is long-winded one here, but he does appear to me to be guilty. That's how it appears from the outside looking in. As I said, if things change, if we can see some proof that, and I mean compelling, not just, Malcolm X quote or saying, it might have been the fertility drug, it might have been this. It's just like, no. Let's see some absolute proof. Let's see the B sample. What's wrong with that? Why can't we see that? It's been over a month now. Well, more than a month, nearly 2 months now. Because the actual test was taken in September. So I don't see why we can't see it now. Let's see. That's my thoughts on this. Now, one of the purposes of this video is to really just talk about it and, get as much out as I can in this video and just discuss it, but also to get people's opinions. And I always ask for people to comment and let me know what your thoughts are. And I'd like to really hear it, like some detailed thoughts. Not, it doesn't have to be an essay, but I get a lot of comments on all my videos, as you know. When you upload as much as me and you've nearly 10,000 subscribers, you get a lot of comments. I don't read them all, but I'd be interested to see as many as I can on this one. What your thoughts are on the Benn situation. Conor Benn almost at the start tried to make it out as though there was a witch hunt. I mean, how in God's name there'd ever be a witch hunt against him, I do not know. With Tyson Fury, when people were talking about the witch hunt against him back in 2015, 2016, yeah, you could understand that. Because, and look, I'm not going to speak about, what he was saying at the time, but when he was speaking about that, you could understand that a lot of people, high up would be like, can't be saying that, and you could understand that. But Conor Benn has never, ever, ever even come close to anything that Tyson Fury is. I don't think he's ever. Conor Benn just doesn't strike me as that. He's not that. Like, obviously Tyson Fury now, he kind of draws the line. But back then, Tyson Fury was very outspoken. Conor Benn's never been outspoken. He never has. Never has. So why anyone would think there's a witch hunt is beyond me. I don't know how anyone could comprehend that. But, let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on this situation. What my stance is, guilty until proven innocent. What's your stance? Let me know in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video. As I said, we will get midweek report out tomorrow. And yeah, hit subscribe if you haven't already. For now, lads and lassies, I will talk to you. Keeping it going. Midweek report tomorrow. I've got other stuff planned as well. Got an old documentary in the pipeline coming up. Which is just off topic. I had to take the Joshua Usyk documentary down. I used a free, uncopyrighted song in it. And if you go on YouTube and type it in, it's uncopyrighted. And the owner of the song, who uploaded it as an uncopyrighted song, copyrighted the video. I mean, mate, that's bad form. That's real bad form. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. Smash the like button if you could. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'll talk to these people. Peace.